Taste that pink venom, taste that pink venom, taste that pink venom. Get him, get him, get him. Straight to your dome like whoa, whoa, whoa. Straight to your dome like What is up, my people? It is that time of the year again. Festival season is back. We're back with festival season, back in action. And you know what that means? We are back in action with my famous and one of my favorite segments on the channel, the Dream Experience. This is a segment where I like to give you a taste and first-person view of a festival that I check out, give you my full thoughts and opinions and my honest opinions about what I think about the fest, what I think about the lineup, every single thing that this festival that I attended for that year had to offer. I'm going to get right into it and give you my honest feels and recommend it to you. This year was starting off strong, strongest than I ever probably done, even depending a little bit bigger than EDC last year. This year I started off with the one, the only, the notorious Coachella Music Festival down in Indio Valley, California. Coachella is literally one of the most mountainous, notorious, and critically acclaimed festivals to attend to ever. This is the festival that everybody talks about. This is the festival that everybody goes to because of all its fandom, all its like satire and celeb cred that it really attends there, and it's just all it's ever really talked about. There is a big image following behind Coachella, and honestly, saying this early on, kind of deserves it, man. They put in a lot of work in this fest. Now let's get into some of the details. What are there some options for you to stay at around the locations for Indio Valley at Coachella? So there are some camping options. This year I did not camp. I actually did a hotel package. This is the first time I actually did a whole package recommended by the festival. We stayed down in Palm Springs. I love the location over there. It's amazing. Great coffee over there. It's kind of quiet. It's like small, but it feels like so touristy, and there's just really a lot to see. I really did love our location. I thought it was gorgeous, and there are numerous amount of hotels that you can pick. We were actually one of the farther ones, and a little bit further you can get some way better ones, which is a lot closer to the festival too, which is a lot more convenient, and of course more money, but it's very nice. But yeah, because of that, I didn't really get to experience what the camp had to offer. I mean, I heard some people talk about it. It seemed like some of them didn't really care or ponder to explore what the campsite had to offer, so that is unfortunately something that I am not eligible to share with you about info. But if you know about it, if you went to Coachella and you camped there and you're watching this video, you should let me know down in the comments, what did you think of your experience camping at Coachella? Upon arriving to the festival, getting inside is laughable. It's so easy. You know what, that is a really good thing though. It's very quick to get in. Like, we got there consistently around 12:30 to 1 o'clock. So I'm not sure if it gets busy later on in the day, but I can tell you for sure the times that we did go, we had zero wait. It was very, very smooth in there. Security, like most that I really see at festivals, are very easygoing, but I feel like every time I got my stuff checked, they checked pretty well, and then they had metal detectors, so you can make sure that there are no weapons that are gonna be snuck in, hopefully. But let's talk about what made this year so unique. How about let's dive into the headliners. And in the first day on Friday, we had Benito himself, Bad Bunny, close out with a great show. And then on Saturday, we led right into one of K-pop's most biggest groups, most favorite groups out there right now in the music industry, Blackpink. And then we closed out on Sunday with the one and only Frank Ocean. Now, of course, Sunday was a bit chaotic due to Frank Ocean's drama if you really want to follow along with that. I am not gonna talk about that in this video. I have a separate video where I did talk about all of that and gave my personal feelings about it and gave info to what occurred that night. So if you're interested, after the video, it will be linked right there. You can go check it out for yourself, but I'm not really gonna be talking about any of that. If we're gonna talk about the replacements, they did replace the closer, Frank Ocean, with Blink-182, and just announced they added Fortet, Skrillex, and Fred again, which I was pretty butthurt about. I really wanted to see that trio perform because I really love Quest for Fire. That album was awesome. But yeah, just looking at the headliners alone, it's vastly incredible. There's so many different ranges of cultural perspectives in what's really popping out in Latino music and Korean, and then just with R&B stuff. This is a really big era for those genres. But getting deeper into that, I thought this festival was outstanding and so impressive when it comes to the amount of diversity within the artists. You can really find so many different vast and variations of like indie rock music, pop music, hip hop, dance, electronica, Latino music, North African, South African, Korean, Arabian, Indian. The list goes on and on. But the thing is that these acts are super unique in their own way. It's not even as simple and black and white as I'm even saying, just specifying on the genres. They are very distinctive in their category. One thing I was especially impressed by is the stages themselves. I was actually pretty satisfied with them overall. We have the Sahara stage, which is pretty much almost like a rave hip hop scene. That's mostly where you'll find over there. You have the Gobi and Mojave, which is like can range in a bunch of different things, a lot of indie music mostly, but like so many different variations of it. And then you have Yuma, which is like a straight up rave scene. It's non-stop. I really do like what they have in that setup for that stage when it comes to the continuation and just like how the show just never really stops in there. Literally after the act ends, the next one appears right there. They just switch turntables with these little moving tables, and I was very impressed with that. I actually really like that area, and it's air conditioned as well. The other one that's actually air conditioned too is Sonera. Now this stage, when you go in there, it's like a huge dad bar scene. You know, it's very big, hardwood floor, and like classic like bar step. It looks exactly like how I could see like going to like a big like dad rock bar out in the suburbs. Now this stage might seem kind of boring and carelessly creative just because of how simple it is, but this is the way I looked at it. Since they had such a huge bar scene, and like it really illuminated a lot of like that rock, like old school like rock that you see at your old country like suburban bar or something like that. I took that as the festival taking appreciation of a certain origin of a genre and just of a scene when it comes to an artist or rock band or just a performer. I thought in that aspect, this was beautiful. This was amazing. I really love what the festival tried to culminate when it terms to the originalities of these cultural genres and musicalities that these stages uphold. They really appreciate the origin of where these certain genres started. And this festival also offered some really cool mini stages. They had the Do Lab, which is pretty much like a really cool EDM house scene. They have that, and then they also have the Spatro stage. This year was sponsored by Heineken. Really cool. It's like another scene like that, but it feels a lot more beachy. I really did like what they were doing there with these two stages. They're just so casual, but they're really fun. And then we're gonna get to the big boys. The second main stage is the outdoor theater. This is such an impressive stage because it is the second biggest stage on the entire field and the entire ground for Coachella. It felt like an not ordinary, but when it comes to the size of it, it seemed like other major festivals, same size for their main stage or even bigger. And it still looks somewhat unique to its own craft with the way that Coachella tries to make their designs for their main stages. So it looks just like a smaller one, but it's not small. And then the main stage, the Coachella stage. When you get to be at that stage from day and night, and you see how many different ways they can shift and just mold this stage. There's so many things that they can do with it with the time that they're given when they're setting up for the next act. It's incredible. They can do so many different things on there. Huge platforms, huge walkways. It's incredible. It really does show out. It is one of the most impressive main stages I've ever seen. Just to share some of my favorite acts, I gotta go with Bad Bunny. He was definitely one of the better ones of the entire weekend. I really enjoyed. Labyrinth was stellar. That was something different. That was, oh my God, Labyrinth. I need to see that again. And then Rosalia was stellar. One of the best performances I've ever seen. Ever. You got Boy Genius that blew my mind. You got Gorillas, which is really good. Becky G was awesome. I really liked Porter's set. Kali Uchis. Seriously, almost everything that I went to, I had a great time and I had no bother. And I thought each performance that I went to had a very great, vast amount of talent to put on the table. You could tell a lot of people were just putting their heart and souls into these performances, which is something that you already assume when any festival that you go to, especially for a main act. But this festival is just something different to the artists, and you can really tell how much more passionate, how much more emotional they get when they get to perform on this stage at this festival. It's something that I greatly appreciated from this festival because sure, it has like that very huge popularity scheme that it gets mocked of, it gets memed about a lot because, you know, it's like the celeb fest, which is like, I barely even noticed that many celebs. I did, however, meet Arlo Parks, which is freaking awesome. She is so dope. If you don't listen to Arlo Parks, just listen to her new song, Waitlist. It is magnificent. But dude, the surprise guest, it's serious. Metro Boomin. This man brought out Future, 21 Savage, Diddy, Don Toliver, and The Weeknd. Who does that? Who's able to do that? Bad Bunny brought out Post Malone, but that kind of backfired because there was a lot of technical issues, which I'm not even gonna bag on the festival for. Every festival I go to, there's technical issues. So Becky G brought out Peso Pluma, but one stood out to me the most because the way I thought about this whole scene was just insane. When Labyrinth performed Never Felt So Alone and brought out Billie Eilish, the Mohab stage, and that is one of the more medium-sized stages. And in another festival, thinking about like reflecting on about like Bonnaroo or even Lollapalooza, Pitchfork, any of those other festivals, that just doesn't happen. Billie Eilish is a blockbuster hit of a pop artist. She doesn't play normal shows or festivals anymore. She plays arenas. She's a superstar. She headlined Coachella last year, and she did a special guest performance for Labyrinth on one of the medium-sized stages. That does not happen. The screaming that night, it's embedded in here. I will never ever forget that moment. That was incredible. Their passion alone is the main reason why you should visit this festival. Fuck all the whole, you know, rich aspect, high class kind of thing. It's like you go here, you gain status, you go here for your Instagram and stuff. Sure, if you go there for all that, that's cool. All power to you. No judgment from me at all. But dude, if you're not paying attention to what these artists are doing, you're doing yourself a disservice. Now we're gonna dive into some of the positives and negatives. I'm gonna start off with the positives. Like I mentioned earlier, it's incredibly fast to get in. I really thought it was very easy to get into. The scenery, the art that they have to offer is gorgeous. It is mind-boggling. And mind you not, they have some of the art pieces in like the main field by the Coachella stage and the outdoor theater. That changes every year. They have these huge sculptures and creations, not to mention that they have these little like picket boards that have the credit of the artist right there, and it gives a little bit of a story and background about the artist and about the story behind this art piece that you're looking at. I've seen so many festivals do some really cool stuff with their art aspect, especially EDC. That's definitely top tier to me. This is a whole different realm of appreciation in terms of the passion of the art aspect, not just the music, but the art aspect. I was baffled. The day and nightlife is gorgeous. It's so different, so vastly different. The switch up is so big, but it is so compelling. It just feels so alive and glamorous. It is amazing to see what this festival really comes up with and how much they really care about the actual fan of these arts. It's the small details that make this festival so significant and so big and impressive, and I feel like not enough people, I mean maybe to me at least, don't really notice that or really take great appreciation of that. You should really look into that, especially if you love this festival, because I feel like the people working in the big offices to make this thing happen and the production scheme, they are doing a great job. I thought everything when it comes to the essentials, you know, food, the water, the bathrooms, all pretty conveniently located. And one thing that I really did like is that if you want to go get alcohol, they actually have the areas where you can get alcohol separated, where you can get a wristband that shows you're 21. You just show that wristband right before you enter, and you enter this whole garden, and they're all different. They are all different. They offer something so cool, and it's just so impressive. I've never seen a festival do anything like that. It's so smart. You're more likely to get in and out. It took a while still to get drinks, but dude, over 125,000 people go to this festival. But still, I feel like if it wasn't like this, it would probably be worse, just because you have people colliding with each other, and most of people, like, when they go into that section, usually they're not going there to hang out. You can, there's some areas where you can go there, like sit down, eat your food, eat your drink or whatever, but when most people are in there, they're not in each other's way. You don't really feel like that at all. And sure, the food and drink were expensive, but they were actually pretty good. Like, I felt like the quality of you get, it's really good. Like, it knocked my socks off. I was actually expecting this not even coming close to Lollapalooza's food. I'm not gonna lie, all in total, what they have to offer, I think they have some better joints altogether than they have at Lollapalooza. Don't get me wrong, I still love my Heralds and my Cheesies at Lollapalooza and my Illuminati's. But yeah, Coachella, you are killing it. I swear there was places with the food joints where I was shook. And I also like that the main acts, they were longer than most of other festivals really have. Usually festivals, they could push about an hour and 45, mostly an hour 30, which is still a long set. Some of these guys like Bad Bunny, they were going for like over 2 hours, and I was like, damn, that's great. Then we can just dive into the negatives real quick. One thing that really did bother me, so for the shuttles, the gates open at noon, but the shuttles only are active at noon. So once noon starts, once the gates open, that's when the shuttles are active, so you're not able to get there before the gates open. I didn't really like that. I would really wish that I was a little early so I can get there on time. And I think it's the same thing for the entire service. I don't think it's any earlier or later the closer you are to the fest. I think all of them, they start at noon. So if you're closer to it, then I guess it's still not bad because you'll get there a lot sooner, but still, you're not able to get there before the gates open. I just didn't like that. The first day especially, I really wanted to be there before the gates opened. And another thing that really sucked, again, not anyone's fault really because there's so many people here, but dude, waiting in line for some shit was shitty, man. Waiting in line for merch, terrible. Definitely the worst that I've ever experienced. I waited in this merch line for 3.5 hours. I needed those pins, bruh. Not to mention, I really wanted to see if they had Frank merch, but they didn't. Again, I don't want to talk about it. Not a huge negative because it's not really anyone's fault, but yeah, the lines suck, man. If you don't have to wait in line for anything, don't. Having Yuma and Sonora isolated because they are indoors, you need to wait in line to get in them. And you know, on sometimes you can get in there right away. But for some acts, like I wanted to go see Ethel Kane at Sonora, but there was a huge line, and I already waited in the merch line for 3.5 hours. I was done with lines for the entire weekend, so I got to go in there, but I went in there early just to check out like what it looks like in there. But I didn't get to go there for some certain acts that I really wanted to see. Same thing with Yuma, very long line. Again, I'm done with lines. I didn't want to see how fast it moves. I was so tired. I get it because they're indoors, they have air conditioning, and at a certain point they get really packed. Like I was watching some of the videos for those acts. Yeah, they're packed. They're packed. Even though how they're big, they get full. So yeah, not a big deal, but it's just a bit unfortunate because I would have liked to go to those stages when there was acts that I really wanted to see. That's all the negatives I have to pick at. It's mostly just for lines. That was the biggest issue. I feel like what the festival had, they still were able to really attack the issue pretty well for the most that they could do. They did a good job. And then the shuttle lines, that's something that I wish can change. I feel like that can be changed. But other than that, dude, I don't have any other problems with this festival. It's a must visit. It's incredible what this place does. Screw all the imagery, all the status that this festival really feels like that it'll hand you. That's why you kind of go here and you think that you're just gonna meet a bunch of rich douchebags. I'm not gonna lie though, this is the first time ever where I've actually ran into a douchebag at a music festival. Never ever had before. Of course, the irony of it, right? And listen, let's not label the crowd at all based off this one douchebag. The only douchebag that I've ever met at a festival, because I met so many other people at this festival that were awesome. If I ever talk to you, if you remember me and you're watching this video for some reason, listen, you are the shit. I freaking loved meeting you, and you are awesome. Thank you. Even though because of all the Frank Ocean madness, I was one of those people that waited there for a very, very long time, over 10 hours. The people that I met there and connected with were diehard Frank Ocean fans, and you really, really felt it, and as am I. I just loved being with that crowd. I really did. Honestly, this crowd, it's great. I met so many great people. At any festival, you always meet some great people, but man, I met some really, really cool people here, really good friends now, and it's just beautiful. I underestimated this festival. I thought I would be overrated. I really thought that it just wouldn't really meet expectations. It blew the expectations out of the water. Hands down, a festival that you need to see, you need to appreciate, and it's just a marvel of an event. Great job, Coachella. Please keep doing what you're doing, because I think you're doing a great job. I think what you're doing for music is so important and so special to me, and this is just a festival that will never ever leave my mind. You know, Bonnaroo, you're my heart and soul forever and ever and ever. I love you forever, baby. But Coachella, you are special. Guys, that is my thoughts on Coachella Music Festival in Indio Valley, California. Let me know in the comments, what did you guys think of this video? Did you get to visit Coachella this year? What did you think of your experience, or did you ever get to visit Coachella? Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of the festival. Thank you guys so much for watching, much appreciated. Do not forget to like and subscribe for more content, as it does help the channel grow. Much appreciated, guys. I hope you love these videos, as I really do put in a lot of work. It's changed my entire life, so connecting with you guys on live music is one of my biggest passions, if not my biggest passion. Thank you guys so much, and I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Deuces.